At what point did you realize that the drugs were a legit problem?
The day I was leaving San Antonio, the commanding general of the hospital, I ended up getting pretty close to during my time there, came out and we're walking out, he's walking, I'm rolling. I'm still not walking well at this point. And he says, I'm going to check out over at 4th Recon, and he says, you know, Jake, I feel like we should name a hall or something after you, after all the shit you put us through. I was like, hey, sir, let me do the infamy thing. Just let me handle. I got it all my lonesome. I don't need your help, you know? And he was like, I'm sad to see you go. And I said, well, I'm scared to death to leave. And I remember I basically got a giant bag of drugs before I went over to 4th Recon. The last thing I did with them was sign at page 11. And because the higher up that told me, I'm going to be here every day, I told him what I thought about that and what I thought about him. And so he showed me by making me sign at page 11. And I was like, put it on my tab, bro.
What's a page 11?
Slap on the wrist, pretty much. But you can't be promoted for, I think it's 12 months with page 11. Yeah. Gotcha. And so I was just like, he was in D.C. at the time when I checked out. And the gunny there was like, hey, he said he wanted to talk to you. I was like, get him on speakerphone, let's talk. And I told him what I thought about him. It was inappropriate, and I'm not sorry. But he's like, give him a page 11. And gunny was like, do you want to contest this? It's like, hell no, put it on my tab, bro. I'm on my way out. And man, I had this bag of drugs, and my brother met up there with me. My brother was going to drive me to Florida, where I was going to check in with Massic 21. And I knew right then, because I was like, okay, at this point I'd already started, like if I was eating if I had a family member or friend give me a fentanyl pop out of my bag of goodies, like I would chew it, I'd bite it off the stick, chew it up and swallow it, and just lay on the stick, and I'd be like, hey, so who's gonna grab me a fentanyl pop? They'd be like, yeah, Jake, we just gave him. No, you didn't. You thought you did, but you didn't. I knew, like, because I was like, hey, listen, if I just can't feel, nothing matters. If I'm completely numb, nothing matters. Mm-hmm. And then when they gave me that giant bag, I was like, oh, shit. I knew how it was going to end. I was like, yeah, well, this is I don't remember what they told me, like a 3-month supply. And I was like, no, this is like a 3-week supply. And, man, that's how I integrated back into civilian society. Was high as a kite, knowing that if I don't have to feel and I can go through this thing numb, nothing matters. Because if you can't feel it, who cares? Who cares? And it was something that really was, it just got worse and worse. Essentially what I did for a year and a half was chase my first high. That's what I did. And I was finally, for about a year there, I slept with an over and under 12-gauge shotgun. It was condition 1 next to my bed every night. And every day I talked myself out of utilizing it to end my own life. To where I was almost to the point where I had decided why it was okay to do it, and I had justified it in my head and why it would be better for everyone in my life and around my circle if I was gone. And so but then I was told by family that Jake, the difference between, at this point, I'm taking about 55 pills 3 times a day, and I was eating between 8 and 12 400 milligram fentanyl pops a day. I was on enough medication to kill a village in Africa. It was gnarly. And the fact that I never OD'd, I mean, there's no medical explanation for that. And so
where were all the drugs coming from?
It's easy. You get them. Make a phone call and get them.
Boom.
Yeah. And so that was the least of my worries on how to get the drugs. I mean, and to be fair, because I was on so much as I came out of the hospital, it took a lot to keep me where I was. I mean, if I'm even 10 minutes late on one dose, I'm starting to withdraw. I mean, it was bad. And so finally, I get told, the difference between you living the way you're living and eating a bullet is time, but the outcome's the same. You're just slowly killing yourself. You owe it to your brothers that didn't come home and those that did and still love and respect you to not only live, but live well. Because that's the only way you can truly honor them, is by living well. I mean, that hit me hard. And I realized I'm being a selfish bastard. That's what I'm doing. I'm carrying out every day like a victim. And I'm not a victim, I'm a victor. I need to start acting like it. And so I called my lead physician the next morning. I said, "Hey, good news, doc. I'm getting off all the drugs." She said, "How are you going to do that?" So I'm just not taking the first dose. I'm just stopping. She said, "I'd highly advise against that." So why is that? I said, "Because you'll probably have a massive heart attack and die." I said, "Roger that. Plan A is a no-go. What's plan B look like?" And she was like, "Well, you're going to have to come back to BAMC and we're going to have to wean you off the drugs," which is not what I wanted to hear. Because it was like when I left MCRD San Diego, I was like, no need to ever come back here. I'm done. D-U-N, done. And I was like, shit, all right. And I went back there and started that process, man. And let me tell you something. I can sit here and tell you with conviction, I know why addicts stay addicts. Because that slow withdrawal process of getting clean, I mean this wholeheartedly. I don't know what was harder, being blown up or getting clean. I honestly don't know what was harder. Because, I mean, hell, coming off the drugs, they gave you drugs to help you come off the drugs. And it's like, what the frick? Isn't there a shot or something you can give me and I can get the hell out of here? But there's not.
How long was the process?
Supposed to be 6 months. 6 months. So I did 2.5. I was clean. Because I was like, I can't continue to be this sick.
You had that hardcore about face, though. I mean,